You're listening to the Running Up the Score podcast.
Boston and Toronto has been nothing short of physical. It has been the most physical game by far in the entire NHL playoffs. Obviously, it's gritty. It's this time of year. Both teams showing they could do it, that they've been there before. Toronto won last night 2-1. It was a great game. Boston's now on their heels. They'll be playing Toronto. Toronto will be at home for Game 6. They're going to be loud. It's going to be super tough for Boston. Is it possible? No doubt. There's no doubt that Boston's already proven in this series alone that they can win in Toronto. But it's going to come down to, who's going to play that better defensive style. Because Toronto has shown a couple of times in this series that they can play a very good defensive structure and keep you off the scoreboard. I even went to the last time the Islanders played Toronto this season, the second Tavares game, and they shut us down. Their defensive structure was there. So they're a scary team, Toronto. So is Boston. Right now, as an Islander fan looking in on that side of the bracket, you really don't care. You just want to see both teams beat the hell out of each other, and that's exactly what's happening.
I mean, Boston is the one team that I don't want the Islanders to face at all. I think the Islanders can beat any team in the playoffs, Boston being the outsider of that. I think the Boston Bruins are the one team that just can shut the Islanders down, and they've done it all year. I don't know what it is about Boston, but they just know how to shut down the Islanders. This series is, like you were saying, as an Islander fan, you really you want the Bruins to lose, but you also want John Tavares to lose. But you know what? Altogether, I would love to see an Islanders Maple Leafs Eastern Conference final. That would be amazing. I think the NHL would love that. Would love that. But you know what? If we don't face Toronto, we don't face Boston, I'm happy with it. Obviously, we have to get through Washington or Carolina first. But this series is fun to watch, really. I mean, Toronto and Boston, it's, the first game 4-1 Toronto, the second game 4-1 Boston, the third game 3-2 Toronto, game 4 6-4 Boston, and then game 5 last night Toronto 2-1 Boston. It's a back and forth series. Rightfully so. These two teams are very good teams, and overall, Toronto, I feel, has more talent, especially on the offensive side. But Boston, this team's been together for so long. I mean, this is the same kind of structured team that they've had for the last 5-6 years. So, this team knows how to win. They know how to play defense as well. And, I feel like this series is definitely going to go 7, to be honest with you. I really do. And it's going to be a tough game because, Boston is home for that, right? They have home ice. So Boston, having game 7, that's going to be huge.
If they can get there. I mean,
if they can get there, absolutely. Toronto going to Toronto with a 3-2 lead, it's huge. But
that'll do it for the East. We're going to move on over to the West. Nashville and Dallas, series tied at 2. Really haven't heard much about this series. Nashville was great all year. Dallas made a couple of additions at the trade deadline, guys like Matt Zuccarello. Obviously, they got someone like Ben Bishop in the beginning of the season. They have made some upgrades. And they're giving Nashville everything worth it right now. Everything. Nashville was very good all year. Their defensive structure is very simple, or very similar, not simple, similar to what teams like the Islanders and Boston have shown all year long. It's just been very gritty. The Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues, once again, that's 3-2 Blues right now. I don't think a team at home has even won a game yet, which is kind of crazy. Every home team has lost so far in that season, that series. And there's really not much to get into with these Western Conference, matchups on the basis that the West's points production right now, the only series that was really worth talking about on this side is what we're going to get into right now, and it's over.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche, who have who had a chance at the number 1 overall pick. Thank God they didn't get it, so they wouldn't be the next Colorado Avalanche. Because remember those teams from back in the 90s?
Yeah.
They played a very good style of play, and they have a lot of scary guys. Ratnin and, they have that young kid that's so fast, McKinnon. They are well-structured, and Calgary was as well. But you can just tell the more high speed and high power offense came from the Colorado side, and this was no problem. 4 games to 1, a 5-game series win for the Colorado Avalanche, and now just like that, both number 1 seeds are gone.
Both. I mean, that's unreal. I know I did pick Colorado to win this series because I said, I was going to go with the best player in this series, and that was Nathan McKinnon. He's the best player in this series. And you know what? Colorado, they fought. They played a gritty type of series, and they're very talented. They're a very talented team. They come up, with this kid, what's his last name? Kale Maker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The kid just comes off of literally, winning an award. Like, I think he had like a 72-hour, hell of a week kind of thing, where he comes in, first period, scores for Colorado. His first game, comes into the playoffs, scores in his first period. To the point where the next game, fans have a head of kale in their hand as they're in the crowd. I mean, it's just, Colorado is a tough team to play. They're very talented, very, very talented, and they showed it against, Calgary. And Calgary, again, like you said, another 1 seed going down to an 8th seed. To an 8th seed. This is not even just like, losing to a 4 seed. No, this is an 8th seed that you're going down to. And Colorado moves on. They win this series 4-1. They win Game 5 5-1. And then you move on to the last game that we haven't gotten into yet. San Jose and Vegas. I think this is one of the best series to watch. San Jose, and Vegas. The way the type of play that these two teams have is unbelievable. They have firepower. All over the ice with these two teams. You have Burns, then you have Pavelski taking a puck off the face, scoring a goal. I mean, if you're scoring off of your face, you're looking good. But Vegas has the lead in this series, 3-2, and they go home. And we know how Vegas is. They're gonna have a whole little, theater going.
Of course.
Get
their fans
the game
into it. It'll be a very important game. But right now, we all know that the toughest game for the Vegas Golden Knights will be to close it out and, winning that 4th game. And they've done a great job to get the first 3. Obviously, playing a game in San Jose wasn't super easy, but it's time to go back home and take care of home ice. They were able to do it both times that they went back to home ice. Those fans got their back the whole way, and it's a very difficult place to play. And it's going to be tough for San Jose.
San Jose is a very veteran team. They have veterans all over the ice. So, of course, it's going to be tough to close it out against this team. San Jose knows how to win in the playoffs. They're in the playoffs all the time now. And they're a veteran team. So it's going to be very tough for Vegas to close out this series. But, I'm excited to see the rest of these series go. The more time that the Islanders have off, the better. And before we get out of here, there's a bonus stat that I wanted to tell you, basically, because you're so big on kids not getting paid in college that they should get paid. So one of the guys that we were talking about, obviously, was Zion Williamson. So get this, now we're talking about NBA playoffs now. This stat doesn't apply for the playoffs, but it does apply for NBA, and everybody's saying NBA's back. They're one of the top sports and in all of sports, this and that, whatever. This year's Duke team in 26 telecasts on ESPN averaged $2.33 million viewers. They had more viewers on ESPN than 101 NBA games that average 1.99 million viewers per telecast on ESPN and ABC.
Obviously, for me, and this is just my perspective, I'm not here to speak beyond anyone else. I watch college sports on the basis that I love watching these kids play with all their heart and their effort, and it's really incredible. I mean, they haven't been paid a cent, and it's what makes college what it is. Do I agree with it? No, I certainly don't. But my opinion really is irrelevant at that point. This is how it is. These kids don't get paid. These colleges continue to make a lot of money. It's funny to watch. And obviously I'm not alone here. I think a lot of people see what I see.
I think most people do.
Yeah, and just for me though, on the sport on its own, being able to watch these kids give everything they have is incredible, and it's what makes college what it is, and it's why I love to watch both college football and college basketball. It's March Madness, like we just went through, is one of the greatest times. The whole bowl season's a great time. Just the college sports in general. Watching kids give everything they have, because that's what you have to do. If you want to try to get to another level, or eventually make a career out of what sport you're playing. So that's what makes college great for me, and it's a big reason why I've always been a huge fan. And that's never going to change. Obviously, these players are never going to get paid, because you can't make any more revenue than this, and the way to distribute the revenue is very confusing. And I don't even have an answer for that. So for the colleges and their athletic directors and all that kind of all that stuff, that's on them, and they're whatever you call it, deans, whatever it is, something has to give. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to give, but as long as the sports continue to remain great, because once again this year March Madness was unbelievable, and you just got to appreciate it for what it is. It was amazing. Obviously these colleges made a lot of money off it. What else is new? But I also had a great time being able to watch it. It was a great event and very surprising. A lot of upsets this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But that will do it for the show. SeatGiant.com. Type in RUTS Sports to save on tickets. Again, big show on Thursday. We'll be back on Tuesday as well, with a podcast. But Thursday, big show. Draft show. Tune in, and I'll hopefully have a number for you to call. So we'll get that going too. But big show on Thursday. Big NFL draft show. I'm excited. We'll have a mock draft going. So tweet us, hit us up on Instagram if you want any type of question, or something to say to us. That's where you can hit us up on. So I'm excited. He's excited. That will do it. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy.
Be breezy.
And it is all over! You've been listening to Running Up the Score on SportsCastr Live. We run up the score on sports radio. You've been listening to the Running Up the Score podcast. For more Running Up the Score, go follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at RUTS Sports.